Croeso, enw fi yw Rydy Maguire. Dwi'n cefnogi'r Scarlets. Dwi just wedi gwylio Scarlets yn erbyn Bristol Bears a dwi'n gwrando i Bears Beyond the Gate.
You're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate, a Bristol Bears podcast made by fans for fans. We're three friends who love the club, the game and all things Bears. This week we will review the first round of the Champions Cup away at Scarlets, who are based in Llanelli, for those with poor geographical knowledge. It was a close-run affair with the Bears scraping a 17-16 win. We chat about the game and also our matchday experience. Next up is Section Paloise, back at the gate. We know very little about them apart from the fact that actually most people call them Po. But we have a crack at providing you with a handy explainer that we found on Twitter. Finally, we address a couple of other bits of business, including a suggestion that we may have sold our souls to the devil for a couple of bobble hats. I'm Pete, and I'm joined by Lee and Miles for a cheeky beer and a bit of rugby banter. Well, boys, I've got to say, it's been a bit of a struggle to get here tonight because we only got back from West Wales at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And
we were all a little bit tired, weren't we, Miles?
Well, I had a little kip in your car on the way home, mate. I'm still feeling a little bit tired, and I hate to say I'm not even hair of the dog. Having a nice sugary lemonade this evening.
Well, that's the reason why I did. You know, we're here at the Bristol Beer Factory tap room for a cheeky beer and a bit of rugby banter, but that's not strictly true, is it? We'll try and do the banter, but Miles, we can't say it.
He's let us down, hasn't he?
A cheeky lemonade.
But I should say that we're on a lovely Vienna flight. I'm on, yep. And you're on laser juice, aren't you?
Laser juice to me is a kind of refresher.
Well, I mean, it is it's a livener again.
Yeah,
isn't it?
And it's slipping down well enough. Slipping down well enough.
After yesterday, well enough.
Well, we'll come on to a little bit of the reasons why Miles is feeling really tired. But before we do that, let's focus on the game. And what I'll do very quickly, lads, is I'll just read through the key points of the game and then we can chat about it afterwards. Yeah. So, 3 minutes in, we score our first try. Big Bill Matter on the crash ball after an attacking line out. And a big carry from Yancey. And we're 7-0 up because it was under the sticks. 13 minutes, they then score. A couple of phases and then a cross kick. I think it was Tom Rogers, but then after quite a long time with the TMO involvement, it then got scrubbed off for a forward pass in the build-up. And then 19 minutes, Big Bill scores again, and we didn't really see it live, but having seen it afterwards, there was a filthy offload from Calavetti.
Oh, back of the hand,
back of the hand offload. So we're 12-0 up after 19 minutes. 24 minutes, they get on the scoreboard. Costello kicks a penalty, so it's 12-3. 27 minutes, Big Bill gets sent to the bin. So he's had a pretty busy first half. Yeah. 33 minutes, then they score with Bill in the bin. Gareth Davis burrows over, so it's 12-10. And then 38 minutes, they get another try disallowed for a forward pass, sort of in the build-up. And again, it takes a long time for that to be sorted. So at half-time, it's 12-10. Could have been very, very different. 47 minutes, we then score a try from probably what I would say was one of our best moves of the game, only for that to be scrubbed off after quite a length. Well, actually, that one wasn't quite
quite quick.
I think they'd been told to speed it up a bit at half-time. Yeah. So poor old Tom Jordan, sort of forward pass, the final pass from Tom was a bit forward, and I think it was. Then after that 50 minutes, Costello scores another one, so another pen, so they go 13-12 ahead. And then we start getting the subs come on. So Thax comes on for Ogre after 51. And then 2 minutes later, another Costello pen, and they're leading 16-12. So they've been taking the points, going to the sticks. 53 minutes, we then send on another... we send on Woolley, Lovejoy, Chawatama, and Joe Owen. Come on for Genji, Max Laheath and Big Bill. And then 55 minutes, we then score a legitimate try with Lewis Rees-Zammit. But as someone said, it wasn't the sort of try he's going to have on his highlights reel. Because he basically was given the ball about a metre from the line, sort of tripped over, and then managed to sort of place the ball down.
Still 5 points.
But it's still 5 points. So then it's 17-16 to us. And then essentially it stays like that for the rest of the game. And Aidan Boshoff comes on 69 minutes for Joe Worsley, who apparently had quite a big gash.
Yeah.
So I hope he's all right.
Did you say Joe Worsley? Sam?
Joe Worsley.
Sam.
Not Big Lemonhead.
I thought you had, yeah.
Not Lemonhead. No, he's someone else.
I just don't want
No, not
listeners
Lemonhead.
to pull us on
Melonhead. Lemonhead, they're the band.
Yeah.
No, Joe Worsley, famously, the Wasps player, is known as Melonhead. And he coaches in France, doesn't he?
Does he?
Anyway,
He does.
that's a bit of a diversion. And then 73 minutes, Sam Wollstonehome and Benjamin Grondona come on for Marmion and Santi Grondona. And then we nearly score at the end, but essentially the game finishes in a bit of a stalemate, and we win by 1 point, 17-16. So, Lee, from what you can remember, what was your general sort of overview of the game from your point of view?
Well, I'm glad that you summarised it, because my overview of the game was pretty awful. Really, it was not. It's not one for to look back on with fond memories in terms of the actual what had happened out on the pitch, was it?
No.
Not one for the purists.
Not one for the purists. That's it. Perfectly said.
Why do you think that is, then? What was the overriding reason, or was there many reasons?
I just didn't think we got going. But having said that, the positive side of that was that we ground it out, and it was a gritty performance. And a couple of years back, we didn't have that in us. So you know what I mean. You can still take positives, even though it was a pretty rough game. I don't really know why it was that rough, because we started well, as you already said. I think Big Bill Matter was actually 100-1 as well to score the first 2 tries.
Scored 100-1 for a brace.
Oh, yeah. And I don't really know what happened, but I think that we got dragged into their game, and it maybe wasn't the best, the easiest pitch to throw our usual passing game. But I think we just we lowered our standards, and it suited them much better than it did us. And it kind of just went that way. We didn't seem to get any breaks, did we? Where we could pull away.
Yeah. So, Miles, Lee makes a good point. I mean, at 12-0, I thought, this is going to be literally a stroll in the park.
Yeah.
Parky Scarlets.
Hey.
But you're right. It kind of, it's then stuttered a lot. And what was your thoughts on what I would call the second quarter of the game, which a lot of other people say as well, but Miles, you wouldn't call it that. So, but that second bit of the second half, what do you think?
I mean, I can't figure out. Obviously, Bill Matter got a yellow card on 28 minutes, and that sort of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. But I can't quite put my finger on why from that second try at 17 minutes, apart from the disallowed one, it just seemed very stagnant. I mean, I've watched it again on S4C this afternoon. Actually, their halfbacks of Davies and Costello played really flipping well and controlled that game. So big pat on the back for them. And I don't know if I felt like the whole squad that played yesterday for Bristol, I mean, the effort was there, but something didn't click. It wasn't firing on all cylinders. There was quite a lot of aimless kicking, which is not our style, is it? But maybe you're right. The pitch did look a bit heavy, and maybe it didn't suit our fast-running game. And they probably thought we'd play that sort of way, and we just didn't. I mean, God forbid, those 2 disallowed tries, which are lovely tries, weren't they? That sort of crossfield kick and another one. If they've not been chalked off, we could be staring down the barrel of quite an embarrassing loss.
I mean, we should say those delays didn't help as well, because I mean, we got it to at one stage. These delays were taking so long that I could actually go out of the ground, not literally outside the ground, go onto the concourse, get a pint, come back and drink it before they'd actually made the decision.
Yeah, so
that's how long they were.
I mean, one of them, it was like 10 phases.
Yeah.
They'd kick the sticks, and then the TMO had chalked it off.
It was. I think that was one of the big debates of the first half, because basically 3 tries, 2 for them and 1 for us got. And I mean, we couldn't really see it live. Although one of them, I think I think was possible to see where we were. But actually, when you look at the replays,
they were so
you're
obvious.
surprised the ref didn't call, or the lino didn't call at least one or two of those immediately, because there was particularly, I think, the one for their second try, it was a kind of little pop pass that was literally at 45 degrees, and the ref was there. And it's difficult because it's not easy reffing a game, and the ref is has got to think of lots of things, and he's thinking about people coming in and releasing the tackle, but surely I think someone out there will know that. Does the TMO have to wait until there's a break in play, or can he? I'm sure I've seen TMOs say knock on to the straight away, and then the ref is kind of having a quick chat while it's going, and then stops the game. But there'll be a couple of noises out there that can tell us that's true.
I just thought, it's the Champions Cup, right? It's European elite rugby, and I just thought that was shockingly bad refereeing, and TMO officiating was awful. I thought yesterday, some of those decisions, like you say, they were a couple of those forward passes, they were so forward you could see them at eye level, and then the referee doesn't need to referee a match like that. It's just make a decision.
I suppose the argument is they were correct decisions, so in a way it was good that the decision was made. But our point and your point is very good, is that the impact of that on the game was to kind of stop it, and it was stop-start, and it probably did have a factor in stopping the momentum of the game.
Well, we don't want to go down the football route, do we? Like nowadays, if your team scores, you don't really you don't know, like you're cheering, but you don't actually know if it's going to be chalked.
And what I remember, I think their crossfield, their first try, that was a few phases, and then there was a crossfield kick to Rogers who scored. And then when they started looking at it, and they had to look at it quite a lot. And I said to a Scarlets fan, you know what? I've already accepted you scored that because you did have the ascendancy. You were on top. It seems a bit unfair for you that it was very unlucky. And actually, it was so long that I'd already accepted that. And actually, maybe that would be a good thing for Bristol to have conceded then, because it could have kicked them up the backside. So in some ways, there is a rule out there, or a law out there, isn't there, for how much time, but we don't know. But I think it's a really good point you make, that definitely did sort of muck up the first half a little bit. Talking of kicking, Miles, because you brought it up, it does appear like we talked about this last pod. Our game management has got better, and Sam Worsley has been part of that, because he has got a good boot on him. And Kieran Marmion, particularly the Saints game last week, we felt as though there was some really good strategic kicking. I don't know, it's almost like we got to a point where when it worked, we started to do a little bit too much of it.
Maybe,
and not quite getting the balance right. I don't know, what do you think?
It is a bit hard. You're right, we have seen a bit more of it, and I can't figure out why. There is a time and a place for it, but it's just historically not the Bears' way, is it?
I think Pat has said that he wanted us to play more in the opposition's 22, and that is the quickest way of getting there. But you've got to get it right.
But then if you land in the 22, inevitably, if it's there is a risk then the opposition call the mark, and that's why historically you pump it just outside the 22, don't you, and put the pressure on. I don't know why. There were loads of people. Jimmy Williams did a lot of kicking yesterday as well, didn't he? As well as Worsley. It was all right, but it's just not. I wouldn't say it was in the correct area yesterday. I can't figure out why it wasn't successful, or the pressure from Scarlets. We've got to pat them on the back, haven't we? They nearly won that yesterday. They played out of their skins. Some of their players were phenomenal. And maybe just, you're right, the ding-dong of the Anglo-Welsh match, they upped their game a little bit. Why not? Champions Cup, you've only got one chance, and they went for it.
I think as well, we should say to listeners who didn't go yesterday, the weather was awful.
Oh, yeah.
It was shockingly bad, wasn't it?
The pitch, it wasn't rain, but the pitch was wet.
It was really wet, and then it was quite windy as well. And I think like some of those, that type of place and atmosphere, you've got to get those kicks absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing about kicking. If it works, it is obvious. We did try a few 50-22s. I think it didn't quite come off, and on another day, if that had come off, we would have been cock-a-hoot.
Of course.
I just think it's like anything. It's the execution, and some days you slightly get it. I get it. I get why we're doing it, and I don't think we've turned into an aimless box kicking team at all. but we are trying to be a bit more strategic. But again, it's like anything, you sort of play the conditions a bit.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think what you said, Miles, is also true, is that I think Scarlets, like, they got shocked into it a little bit. Because, I think after that first Bill Matter try, when he basically kind of sighed through 3 or 4 of their tackles, I think that was a very, very early wake-up call and a classic case of us scoring too early, actually. And I genuinely think that galvanised them. And I thought their defence was pretty good. They didn't appear to give us much space. They were coming out the line quick. I know Tom Jordan didn't really get much change. Lewis Rees-Zammit didn't get much change out of the space he was given. And I mean, even he was kind of trying to kick it a bit. So I think we have to give quite a lot of credit to Scarlets. They knew, they know the way the Bears play. And so their obvious game plan is to try and disrupt us, try and sort of put us under pressure with high balls. And I would say it worked quite well.
I would say as well, I think that we've got, I mean, it was one of those days where they inevitably upped their game. And you could see they played and they battled hard, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I think we were just a little bit off it. And in all fairness, I'm going to hold my hands up. When I saw the team sheets, I thought that we were going to win by at least 14 points. I said to you guys before. So I hold my hands up. I didn't expect Scarlets to play quite as well as they did. And
I do wonder whether subconsciously there was a little bit of complacency in our team.
Maybe.
But combined with the fact that, I mean, an 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday is quite a long time for an away team to kind of mentally prepare. And of course, all those Scarlets boys would have been comfortable, would have come from home, whereas we would have come up the night before or on a coach or whatever. And I think this was one of those cases where it was difficult. It was difficult having an away game, and I think actually, therefore, to flip that, like you said, I think credit to the boys for actually grinding it out in the end. Realising pretty much halfway through the second half that it was going to be a grinder. Bit of grinder, Miles.
To out-grind Scarlets in their own backyard is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Commendable.
So, also, we should say about times, and I know this is going off track a little bit. We've got a pretty awful start time next week as well, haven't we? Against Paloise. So
we'll come on to that. Come on to that. Yeah, I mean but again, it's all known up front, so you have to manage these things properly.
Yeah.
But it's just not easy to do. I don't know. The only other thing I thought, I don't know whether you felt maybe 1 or 2 players are starting to get a little bit tired. Like, as in, not saying they're not trying, but they have been playing a lot of minutes, and that might have been a factor as well.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of players who put in a full shift of 80 again at the weekend.
Big Pedro, Santi almost, Marmion.
And these boys have been doing it week in, week out, along with some of the internationals, the Autumn internationals. So, yeah, but we needed that first win under our belt, and I get that. And maybe we'll come on to talk about resting a few players for the sort of home match next weekend. But yeah, there must be some tired bodies out there.
Can we afford to rest, though? Like, I mean...
I think we can talk about that when we talk about who we think might play against Poe. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to what we've talked about right from the beginning of the season. We've got a small squad, even without people injured. We've got a lot of games coming up, over the Christmas period and into January. And as I said, Pat's, I think I said a few weeks ago, Pat's selection algorithm is going to be going into overdrive.
Tested to the limit,
but actually, so I think there's not much more we can say. I think set piece was all right. I think we lost one. There was one scrum pen against Genji, and then I think Genji had a word with a ref and come and look at my side and went round, and then he won. And then it was fine after that. That was good bit of ref management from Genji.
There was a bit of needle out there from Genji.
I think so. I mean, late in the second half, there was a couple of line outs which didn't work when Thax came on, but alternatively that happened with Scarlets as well. Not throwing straight. I mean,
again, maybe conditions. I mean, having said that, I mean, Bats, I seem to remember him stealing a couple of line outs, and I remember when he did it in the first half, kind of saying what an absolute quality operator Batley is. Like, he is the full on perfect second row, isn't he?
I hope you heard us shouting out his name as well when he was on the wings. He was right next to us. Come on, Bats!
That was that's true. But yeah, I mean, it was good enough. I just think Scarlets just defended for their lives, and they had a bit of pride, and they disrupted us. And even the best teams, when they get disrupted, find it difficult to to get back into it, especially when other things are difficult, like the weather and the pitch, and it's easy to panic a little bit. And we kept on trying, and I think ironically they'll be quite. I think Pat will be secretly quite pleased about that game. That just kind of reminds everybody that there's no freebies in rugby. There's no free lunches unless you're South African national team, obviously. But apart from that,
ultimately we won the game, didn't we? And that's everything we went there to do. We come away with the.
So okay, boys. Well, so whilst the game might have been a bit stodgy and backwards and forwards, the match day experience, however, was absolute razzmatazz, wasn't it?
Well,
there was some stodge involved.
Should we set the context for listeners that haven't quite clocked it? So we decided to have a road trip, first Bears Beyond the Gate road trip of the season. Miles had got very organised at the beginning of the season, had booked separate rooms for the Travel Lodge for us.
Thank goodness.
Got the tickets. We got tickets for the standing area in the north stand, right down by the pitch. So it was the full-on match day experience. Get there early, go to the pub where loads of fans are, chat to fans, get to the ground, get right close to the pitch, stick the flag up using bits of plastic bag that had been ripped up because I forgot the cable ties, have a load of banter with other fans, shout loads of stuff, do a lot of bristoling, and then after the game have a few more pints, go back to a rugby pub, and then end up somewhere else until 2 a.m. Anyway, that was about it. Anyway, boys, start us off.
A quiet night out.
Well, the start. I mean, obviously, it was West Wales. We expected the rain, didn't we? But thankfully, the rain was coming back towards us. So when we actually got to Scarlets, it was dry. Yeah, which was a bonus. But yeah,
first big challenge when we got into the Travel Lodge. Then we thought, right, let's go.
First thing I'm going to say is, Miles, well done for not booking the Premier Inn, because initially that's where we were going to stay. Yeah. But then we saw there was a massive electricity pylon right outside, which was buzzing
all night.
I mean, from the fact the Premier Inn would have been more practical for both the ground and the pub, but it's my long-term health I'd be worried about being next to that pylon.
So we got there, and then we got, 10-minute change round, wasn't it?
We had a quick turnaround. We said 10 minutes.
10 minutes and we're out.
We're out, and let's get
an Uber to the ground.
But then we had a look at Google Maps and thought, 25 minutes walk.
Yeah, we didn't fancy it, and it just started raining again.
This was the pub, by the way, wasn't it? It's the halfway in. So we thought, this is a modern, advanced democracy. I'll get my Uber app out. Like a load of cars came up, ordered one. And then it kept saying, oh, we're still looking. And then another 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And then in the end, we then decided to ring a couple of local taxi firms.
Which I think was just like literally someone putting their mobile phone numbers down and doing it whenever they fancied.
So what we should have done straight away was then go and find a bloke.
Walk to the bus
ask him and get a bus. And
we found a local, didn't we?
We found a local guy that was going to the game, and he said, get on the number 11, get to Morrison's, you can walk to the pub. And we did that, and it took about...
More than that, he was a season ticket holder. Lovely chap, wasn't he?
And we should mention, for those people that may think we sold our soul, two of us could have sold our souls right there, because he had 2 free passes.
He did. He had 2 spares. He was a hospitality, and he got free drinks for the whole game and hospitality. And he said, lads, I've got 2 lanyards. And me and Lee, we were so nice because we thought Miles wouldn't cope on his own, would he?
I know.
Well, we did say to him, Pete was the other side of the bus. He went, he's not actually with us, so we'll be happy to take you.
I mean, we should have
done rock, paper, scissors.
Well, I would have been quite happy if you two had gone off to hospitality.
We stuck together.
To be honest, and I'm glad we did stick together, because actually when we got to the halfway house, pub was rammed.
Oh, it's brilliant, wasn't it?
Absolutely rammed. Brilliant atmosphere. Straight away got on really well with the Scarlets fans. I've got to say, I thought they were to a person, man and woman. They were really good value.
Man, woman, and one or two weren't sure, but yeah.
And I thought they were brilliant value. But I'm going to let Miles have this one, because me and Miles, and you, Pete, but we did share a goat, wasn't it? A Scarlets goat, and that was Miles. Do you want to take it away?
Quality or lack of quality, any beer or ale in Llanelli. I mean, I don't know what's gone on, but there's some, as Lee said, there's some great breweries there, but none were to be seen serving any decent beer in the halfway or even at Parky Scarlets.
There's nothing Welsh, was there? We wanted to try Welsh beer.
It's a bit of a goat on a road trip, isn't it? We had to.
I mean, the problem is that it raises a bit of a wider issue. Is that whilst the fans we met were great and we had a great time, it was pretty disappointing. They said 7,000, and I don't think there was 7,000 there. because neither of the two stands behind the sticks had any seats, and then the one opposite us definitely had spare seats, and we did. And if you're thinking it's a 14,000 stadium, that by definition suggests that both of the two stands that were open should have been pretty full. And I think they did what all the clubs do, is they just count the season ticket holders,
yeah, I think so.
and then don't bother counting it. And I think that kind of reflects the rest of the whole of the setup. It's not quite. They've got to do it on the cheap, really, or they've got to do it on the basics, because they haven't got enough fans there. So it would be lovely to have a real ale bar, but maybe they've just worked out that it's just not worth it. They're not going to make it. So it's just basic, sort of the basic beers. But you're right. It's not what we hoped for.
Well, me and Miles were saying, actually, it just shows how lucky we are at BS3.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've sat in this brilliant venue here now, in the tap room, and fantastic beers they brew on site. So we are blessed, and also, but fans just to come in here for away fans. You can just walk down North Street, and you've got so many good places you can have a drink. And I just thought I personally was really disappointed, because I thought all I wanted to try was some nice Kidwelly Brewery beer, and I just thought that would have been perfect. But that aside, that was the only gripe, really, wasn't it?
But then after the game, and we walked back to the halfway in, and we had a right old laugh round there.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great sort of rugby pub, wasn't it?
Saw a load of Bristol fans, load of locals that were oblivious.
Dished out some handkerchiefs, even to people who didn't
Gave
want them.
Gave out loads of hankies,
yeah.
Even to people that didn't have a clue what we were doing. And then, when it all kind of finished at 12, we then realised, of course, that we'd got the bus there earlier, and of course, there's no buses at that time. So we did have quite a long walk back to the Travelodge via a petrol
garage,
station.
get some snacks.
I bought about 5 packets of crisps and ate them all in one go.
I went and bought these pepperoni snacks, and they were so hot that they gave me heartburn, so I couldn't sleep to start with.
Oh dear!
But as we were getting back to our Travelodge, and I was sort of ready for bed, who should pipe up but Miles? And you were looking at the Facebook page.
Well, I think I'd seen something earlier in the day saying some other pub is giving away a free drink to either Bears or Scarlets fans who wear their tops to the pub. So I think
it's called the Red Cow.
The Red Cow. So we thought, I thought, let's give it a go. It's open till 3 a.m. What the heck? Wandered in. We were clearly the oldest people in there by about 50 years or something like that.
And the only people wearing rugby shirts as well.
We got a free shot, didn't we? Had a bit of a boogie, one more beer, and then flipping heck.
It was probably a pub too many.
One pub too many.
Hence the reason Miles is on lemonade now.
Yeah, so don't listen to me next time, boys.
But,
if you feel a bit tired and it's after midnight, just so let's go home, boys.
Having said that, we did say that we felt a duty to squeeze as much out of Llanelli as we could.
We were there one night only.
As representatives of the fan base.
I should say as well, I've given ourselves credit. We actually, we'd been walking for 20 odd minutes.
Yeah.
And we were all knackered, but actually we came back. We
gave it a lot of effort. We ground out a good
win, didn't we?
There was no razzmatazz. Nobody was talking to us. We were like dancing. Nobody showed any interest.
We were the only people up at that time in Llanelli.
But we kept going, didn't we? We emptied the tank.
Yeah, I mean, there were I think I agree. And, there were no prams, no people being pushed down in prams, were there? So no. I don't know. So,
I kind of thought that if we're in this place with our Bristol stuff on, there would have been people say, "Oh, Bristol fans, you all right, boy? All right, how you doing? Nice to meet you." They literally had no interest whatsoever. And this is my thing about Llanelli, and no disrespect to Llanelli, but broadly speaking, I don't think they care about the rest of the world. It's like one of those things. You kind of
maybe.
I really did get that impression.
Yeah, but anyway, that was maybe it is.
Anyway, we had a great fun night out, good road trip. Maybe we won't go back to.
I just remembered, boys.
Yeah.
We did get a bit of listener interaction, and actually we did speak to a very knowledgeable Scarlets fan.
Yeah, of course.
Who actually, as people will now have known because they'll have heard the intro to this pod, provided us with a Welsh introduction. You're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate. This is Rydian, really nice guy we met. Actually works in England, but born and bred in Llanelli. And we asked him for a bit of a soundbite after the game, what his impression of the game was. as a Scarlets fan. So I think we should listen to it now.
Probably in many ways exceeded our expectation, because we expected Bristol to come and play a bit. So we were in the game for a lot longer than we thought we would be. Bristol probably didn't play the way they would week in, week out. That probably played into our hands a little bit.
Do you think that the Scarlets upped their game a bit because it was an English team that's come to Llanelli?
Possibly. I don't think we saw from Bristol what you see week in, week out. And I don't think that was the big difference. They didn't fire in the way that they normally do, and they play multi-phase rugby normally and string together phases and produce some unbelievable tries. Luckily for us, that didn't happen. And it turned into a classic cup arm wrestle, and that suited us. And it was I think they found it difficult to get out of that place once they got into it.
I mean, obviously it's disappointing for you to lose. I mean, what's your thoughts for the rest of the Champions Cup campaign?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There's lots of intent from Llanelli, but not much funnily enough, we got 2 tries disallowed. How that would have shaped the game, I don't know. But beyond that, if you take those two disallowed tries out of the equation, we didn't offer that much. So it's difficult to tell, really. We're in a bit of a tricky place at the minute. And it might be that is our ceiling at the minute. But, good win against Glasgow last week. We held Bristol to a 1-point loss. Let's see.
So a bit of a final question, a bit of a random one, but do you think in the future it would be better for Welsh rugby to play English teams all the time? In other words, join the Premiership?
Short answer is yes. Yeah, that absolutely. Because if you look at the English crowds week in, week out, if you look at the quality of the Premiership, if you look at how that translates into the way England play at the minute, the obvious answer is that would be a real positive for us. So, look, I'm not going to represent the views of everybody in Wales, obviously, but as a snapshot, that would seem like a very logical thing for us.
Okay, boys. Well, there you go. That was Rydian. Yeah, very, very articulate. Very astute. So we should have really played that right at the beginning of the pod, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
And then we could have saved ourselves some time. So yeah, good stuff. We really enjoyed meeting him and his dad as well, Lee. You struck up a friendship with him, didn't you?
Yeah, really well-spoken people. I mean, well-spoken as in
with a Welsh accent, right?
Yeah.
But really knowledgeable and, really kind of nice, down-to-earth people. I thought they're great. Yeah. To be honest, we didn't meet a bad Scarlets fan, did we?
They were so nice.
Brilliant value.
Really friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I met some bloke and a young lad in the toilets, legitimately in the toilets. Big Scarlets lad. He must have been early 20s, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, I've been to Bristol. Look, you, Bristol. Yeah, I met 2 girls there. Yeah. They got kids now." I was like, all right, man.
He's allowed out to the big city, and that's what happens, is it?
He was very proud of himself. Anyway, right, on that note, we also did get a few short, sharp summaries in from listeners, and I will do a little bit of a shout-out list in a minute, because the people we met.
There was loads, wasn't there?
There was quite a lot. So let's get to it. So JP Holden, is now kind of on a regular basis sending in rhyming sort of limerick type things, and we have no idea who JP Holden is. I'm sure at some point, do we even know gender, age, demographic? We don't know anything.
No.
It'd be nice if you can come in, say hello to
Although
us.
I kind of like the idea of the mystery of not knowing.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe right at the end of the season, we then find out. But anyway, JP Holden, here we go. Without asking, sent this through this afternoon. At the Parky Scarlets for a mini day out, bad vibes of Green Galway soon started to sprout. Whilst most kicking was aimless, a sneaked win was priceless, much better halfway in than all the way out.
Wow, that's good.
Pretty good, actually. And that's
good.
the sort of thing that could do with a bit more textual analysis. It's some good stuff in there, referring to the Connacht disaster of 2 years ago. Yeah. So, very, very clever. Thank you, JP.
We actually saw our team coach as well, didn't we?
We did? Oh, yeah.
Strange.
Yeah,
really
tell us that.
Bizarre. Well, we were at the end of the portway, weren't we?
Just leaving
driving out of Bristol
at
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And then I'm going to get slated for pronouncing this again now, I know. But in the Connacht.
The Connacht.
Connacht?
No, Connacht. Connacht. Connacht.
Yeah, as you said, Pete.
Yeah.
And the team coach has gone past us, and we're thinking, well,
where's it
why
going?
are they? And the only thing we came to the conclusion of is Joycey's taking them round to his place, isn't he?
But we thought Joycey might even have been driving it as well. And then we found out they're supposed to be playing the Ospreys today.
In
Yeah.
Bridgend?
And then someone told us it was at Bridgend, but Bridgend, I genuinely think, and this may be, Connacht has said, you know what, we've got to go and play in Bridgend, because I imagine they were playing in a really small stadium.
Yeah.
Like, boys, we'll put you up in the Mercure Holland Park in Bristol the night before, so you can have it, and then we'll drive you to Bridgend the next morning. I genuinely think there probably wasn't a hotel in Bridgend that they could stay at, and that's the only... Or, as you say, Joycey said, going to give you a little trip around the mead.
I got a barbecue on.
Got a barbecue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Bit wet though, wasn't it?
So anyway,
for barbecue.
if
It didn't do
Joycey's
them any good anyway, did it? Because they lost,
no.
But
unfortunately.
every now and again, Joycey might listen to this. If Joycey's listening, or somebody who knows Joycey's listening, could you find out why that coach was driving into Bristol at 2 o'clock on a Saturday? Anyway, Richard Spurlock, he's been in touch again. He likes to get in touch, which is great. His short, sharp summary was, started strong, then let them in, although they were better than expected. Referee was awful. Right result in the end. Mention for JW Jordan, Sam Worsley, LRZ, Kieran, and always BJVR and Pedro Fitz. Maybe easier to say team. And then Tango Romeo has been
He didn't
back
come
on.
and say hello to us, did he?
He didn't. He was there. We probably tried to, but we were surrounded by people like gannets trying to. It's like giving those hankies. It was like, you know, when they have those like aid convoys that go in, and then people are running to get the aid. I was like that. I felt like I was just giving hankies out left, right, and
Well,
centre.
I didn't say that. I handed one hanky out, and the guy used it, and then gave me it back.
Gave it back.
No, I'm only joking.
Anyway, Tango Romeo said, positive start, but thought we got dragged into a dogfight. It wasn't very pretty, but a decent result to get the campaign going. But, and I'll say this quietly, our shirts are truly horrendous.
Right. Are we allowed to mention this now?
Do it.
Yeah, go
Because
for it.
actually, you'll have to say the names, because I couldn't remember the couple we were chatting to in the halfway house.
Kevin Liz.
Kevin and Liz. So Kev had the shirt on.
Yeah.
And actually, I did say to him, looking at it, you know, up close, it looked a lot better on than it did in the shop, I thought.
Right.
Tango, I mean, I think Tango Romeo is a man of a certain age and sort of outlook. And I think it's a fair comment. I don't think certain people would want to wear shirts
Well,
like
no,
that.
I mean, it's you know, it's not a shirt that we
No, we're not going to buy it.
Well,
No.
I quite liked it. What? But I haven't got 70 quid at the moment to buy, so I don't think I will. But, I mean, I might go onto eBay later in the season when we get knocked out of the round of 32 to see if there's any cheaper ones
50%
on there.
off. Yeah.
Christmas is coming.
Anyway, talking of shout-outs, we did meet a lot of people, and we had some really nice chats with people. So, in no particular... Well, it is actually in total order that we saw them. Dave Owens bumped into, and that was when I was at the bar, and he kind of said, "Oh, are you Pete?" And then he said he got a hanky. I was like, yeah, let's get it. So that started off. So Dave, lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Then Liz and Kev and Liz Gregory, who we chatted to. Then Mike Neville and Natalie in the queue. Me and from the queue. John Wood and his son Liam, as predicted. And of course, we also afterwards saw Spencer Mizzen and his son Freddie.
Oh, that
and
was
the
great, wasn't it?
Silverthorns.
And the Silver Thorns.
Big Steve and Big John.
Steve, Big John. And then
And
also,
Sam.
me and, we after the game, we also met Mr. and Mrs. Fitzharding, didn't we?
We did.
Because we saw Fitzy and we thought, oh, let's get Fitzy to hold the flag like Dunny did.
Well, let's
And-
ask him.
Yeah, ask him nicely.
Yeah.
And anyway, he was chatting to a lovely, nice couple. And actually, in my mind, I was thinking, he obviously knows them quite well. It took me a while because I had quite a few pints to process that and think that might be his parents. But anyway, he finished off and he kind of gave us a smile because I think he kind of knows who we are. Anyway, I said, oh, as I was about to say something, the dad turned around and said, oh, you're the boys from the pod, aren't you? I'm Fitz's dad, and this is Fitz's mum, and we listen every week.
Hey!
So Fitzy had no choice after that to hold the flag. Did he? He was like, boy, son, hold the flag for the nice man over there. Like that. It was brilliant.
I love it.
Oh, they were lovely, weren't
They
they?
were really nice. It was actually genuinely, it was really nice. We had a nice little chat, and it kind of reminds us that Yeah, we have all sorts of listeners. We have to remember that
demographics.
I mean, it was genuinely so lovely that we got to meet so many supporters and listeners, and it was a really fab day.
And also Matt Morgan. I saw him. Matt Morgan in the supporters.
I even dished out a business card, lads.
I'm
not entirely sure he wanted it.
No.
This chap and he had a few too many beers.
Yeah.
And anyway,
is that the bouncer at the Red Cow?
Yeah.
Is that how we got in? I thought we got in early. Well done, Miles.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, look, I think we're done. Is there anything else we want to say for our Scarlets trip? I think we're done here.
It didn't quite end last night, did it?
No, I mean, I think we went on a road trip.
We went on a road trip.
I know what Miles is on about now.
And obviously the problem is that the boys had to send the hotel staff to wake me up this morning. And then I got a text saying, there's a 40-minute queue for the breakfast downstairs. So I thought, well, we decided we'd hit the road, didn't we? But,
so we hit the road, and then we stopped at McDonald's, and we saw, and it started to lash down, and there was a kind of McDonald's on a roundabout, and I said, boys, let's just go in there, have a quick breakfast. Then I realised I couldn't get in because there was a bus lane, and so I went in a parallel road and parked the car sort of by a bank, and there was like a grass bank that led down to the McDonald's. And we were so hungry we didn't even clock the fact that there was a path that went down. We just went straight over the fence, straight down the grass bank. What do you say, Miles, just before we did it?
Boys, be careful, looks a bit slippery.
Turn round.
2 seconds later, Lee's on his arse.
Lee has got legs. Lee's got his little dainty white trainers on, legs akimbo. Gets up, he's got mud all the way. But then even worse, we missed the fact that where the front door is of the McDonald's, and we skirt round, and then we had to climb over the fences because we're basically
you tried to squeeze through the fence.
I tried to, there's no chance. But we were basically in the drive-through bit. We went all the way round to where we'd actually come, and we hadn't even noticed the entrance. And then we had to go inside, and I had to ask the lady if she had any paper towel that we could wipe his. It was a shambles.
I was absolutely covered, wasn't I?
You were, and then he had to get changed in the rain because he wasn't allowed back in the car like that.
Well, lucky enough, I still had my spare kit in the bag because I was going to wear what I wore to the game.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was definitely a sign to get the heck out of Llanelli.
It was a sign. It was Llanelli saying, "Boys, you've had a good time, but we don't want you here anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Off you go. Don't come back."
It certainly was.
Anyway, I think we're done. So that said, another game to come, and this is something you mentioned earlier, is that we've got the visit of Section Paloise, commonly known as Po, which is a little French club. It's their first time in the Champions League, so they're coming to Ashton Gate. And of course, you think, wow, fantastic. Get a French team to Ashton Gate. What a great time. Have a big jamboree. 5:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Thoughts, Lee?
I know this has nothing to do with the club, so we first should say it's obviously TV scheduling. I know the club probably aren't very happy about it themselves, but it's pretty poor, isn't it? And the thing is, these European games, we really love the interaction with the opposition fans, and we've had some great times, haven't we? Against it's like Stade Francais, we met Remy and. It's just, I just feel sorry. I feel bad for them because it would be just so nice if we had we had bums on seats and opposition fans. They bring the atmosphere.
On any level, is 5:30 on a Sunday a good time for a game of rugby?
I think even for sort of English clubs, I think it's I mean, it was an odd. I mean, it was the same time last week back in the Prem, and that was strangely quiet, wasn't it?
I don't think I'm assuming it won't be a particularly big crowd, unfortunately,
I don't think
Sunday.
so. And I think that's sad for the club, really. But like you said, it's totally out of their hands, and it's not easy. I think getting to the Pyrenees club anyway. You've got to go via Toulouse and then another drive up into the Pyrenees. So it'd be quite sad. I mean, they may bring no fans at all, really.
But having said all that, I also, with Po, I imagine not many people know much about Po, including us.
No.
And so, despite the fact it's 5:30,
Teletubby, isn't it?
I thought that, I actually, we got in touch with there is a podcast called Roast Beefs Rugby, and a couple of English guys who seem to
English.
They're English guys, but they seem to know a lot about French clubs. And actually, we got in touch. We were going to try and talk to them before the pod tonight, but couldn't quite make it work. But actually, we thought, because it was interesting, and Poe apparently is a sort of kind of interesting story. And it turns out there are a couple of English players and players that people don't play there. That actually we've arranged to have a chat with them on Tuesday, a bit of a deeper one, and we're going to call it as a bit of a kind of mini education pod. And for those kind of discerning listeners who are interested in learning something,
the rugby noises,
about Poe. But one of the things the guys had done, they'd actually put out a little explainer on Twitter about all of the French clubs for English fans, which I thought was amazing.
That's great.
And I don't want to give away too much that perhaps they talk about on Tuesday, but just by way of incentivizing people to listen again on Wednesday, hopefully. Yeah, it's saying that Poe are flying high in the Super 14 at the moment. And it's a really big thing for that. It's a very small place in the Pyrenees, and their rugby success is a massive thing for them. But there is a caveat that they may not necessarily prioritise the Champions Cup, which means that maybe we've got a chance of winning next thing, because we do want to win. I mean, I think if we can get 2 wins from 2, we've got as good a chance to get into some sort of knockout, because we haven't had it, have we? So
not for 2 years.
So I thought we'd. I thought rather than sort of go through this explainer, and they are available, but I just sort of tease people that we're going to be chatting to the guys on Tuesday, and we're going to put a pod out on. But on that note, the one thing that we can speculate on quickly is what sort of team do you think we might put out next week? So, Miles, come to you first.
I mean,
any thoughts on team selection?
I didn't appear to be any injuries, did there, yesterday? From what
maybe Reece Summit. But he played on, didn't he?
Yeah, and Worsley had that facial cut.
Yeah, I mean, if they just stitch that up and put a lot of Vaseline on his head, I think it'd be all right.
You're right about Reece Summit. He did
mop up his face.
He did quite early on, looked a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that might... Yeah, he carried on, didn't he? But
I mean, it could have been a niggle. I guess if there was any danger, he wouldn't have carried on.
No.
I mean, what your thoughts? You were chatting earlier. What your thoughts about giving Sam Worsley a rest with his head injury, and maybe moving Tom Jordan to 10 and Elizalde or someone back to 15? It's a possibility.
Well, what do you think, Lee?
Well, I think it was great shape that you said, Pete, because I just thought. I mean, Tom Jordan, I know he played brilliant at fullback, whatever game it was, I can't remember now, but he is our 10. He is a 10, I should say. And I just think Worsley's just not... I mean, we've got to remember he's a young lad. We've got to look after him.
Yeah, I think more than anything, we've got a lot of fixtures coming up.
Yeah.
And actually, we will need him. And actually, is there a time where you put cotton wool on him a little bit?
Well, I guess, when we see the team selection from Poe, then maybe it would be a game where an opportunity to rest him.
And also, I think Tom Jordan would probably be the first to admit he hasn't really got stuck into the season yet. He's had a real difficult one where he played one, then he got carded, then he got banned, then he went to the autumn internationals, and then he comes back against Scarlets and he's playing at full-back on a heavy pitch, and then he does the forward pass, and he probably feels like he wants to be in the thick of the action. And to me, possibly putting him at 10 against Poe would be a way of doing that. It also rests Worsley, or at least Worsley on the bench to have a bit of experience. But then it does ask the question who would go fullback, because Elizalde, I was seeing some stuff on the forum, is like almost suggesting he's gone a bit out of favour because he may well be going to France next year.
Oh, okay.
But he's not injured.
No.
But maybe needs must.
Well, what about... I mean, this is a name we've not spoken about for a while, but I know he's... from what I've heard, he's quite close to a return. Rich Lane. Yeah. I mean, it would be a big throw-in to start him. But if he's not far away, maybe bench.
Yeah, but I mean, or Carrington, because Carrington was on the bench.
And he has played fullback.
He didn't come on, did he, Saturday? But he could start. He started fullback against Chiefs, didn't he? So,
and he Tigers. Played Tigers, and he played really well.
I just think maybe Jordan at 10 would be a shout. I also wonder whether that we might... I wonder whether one of Santi Grondona might get a rest or at least bench for his brother, because his brother came on at the end and he has played a lot of minutes. Pedro, maybe Joe Owen to start, and you bring Ruby Pedro on.
Yeah.
But I think one thing we do need to do is make sure we're solid in the set piece.
Oh,
so I think we'll have a strong front row. I mean, I think Genji probably would start maybe, and then back row, I don't know really. We've got obviously Fitz. I think Fitz just goes on forever.
He does.
Bill.
Luatu's not far away as
Luatu's
well.
not far away. I'm not sure they'd risk him a 5:30 against a French side.
Yeah.
But maybe the big game for a big boy. Big lad, as in a big kind of influence.
Big unit
in the Harlequins game.
And also, I mean, we might point out that Pete, you're not even going to be in the country.
No,
I mean, let alone the bad.
I mean, that might be
kickoff time.
So yeah, we're going to struggle for a couple of. We won't be able to do a pod next Sunday because it's a Sunday game, and I'm actually away. So we're probably looking at doing a pod after the. We may do a pod after the Harlequins.
So we're back to the
weekend,
Prem, aren't we, the week after,
and then maybe do one in the new year to sort of wrap up Christmas. So it's going to be a little bit bitty. We haven't quite planned that out yet, and I may well be zooming in from wherever I am to help the lads out. Literally zooming in. Literally zooming
private jet.
So yeah, I think so. Two more things on any other business, lads. I mentioned it in the intro, but they're ones we were kind of quite proudly talking about our bobble hats that Tom Tainton gave us last week and read out the letter, which I thought was very clear. We had a bit of pelters from some of our regulars telling us that we'd sold out to the bobble hats, and there was a little bit of passive aggressive. Boys, you're not representing us. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Lee?
I think the listeners know full well that they can rip us as much as they like. We will never sell our soul. We'll always say it as we see it and be as balanced as ever. But that bobble hat did fit lovely.
I mean, we'll call it out. And I say we'll just, should a thread or some stitching come loose, we'll call it out, won't we? We'll be straight up there. Don't worry, listeners.
And I also think that maybe they forgot that when I read the letter out, Tom Tainton clearly said that he thanked us for holding the club to account.
And actually, on that note, I am going to hold the club to account.
Do it.
All right, go.
We had this road trip, so I thought, what I'll do is I'll pop down to the club shop, and I was going to buy a hoodie or something similar. And I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of the O'Neill's stuff anyway, I'll be honest, but I can understand why we use them because it's quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But I tried this hoodie on, and it felt quite heavy and thick, and I just thought, you know what, we always like to wear the Gilets, don't we?
Yeah.
On top, and I just thought, it didn't feel right. So I got to call that one out. But that's a personal thing for me.
And other garments are available for other people. And
some people
but it is a fact that there are plenty of bobble hats in stock.
There was loads, and caps are back in.
And
put it on your Christmas list.
So I think we'll put that to bed now. That has been put to bed. The sellout, sell your soul to the devil. That's been put to bed. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was we did have a nice chat earlier on with two of the lads from the new Bears Supporters Advisory Committee, and they'd asked us if they could come on and chat about that, and we have had a chat with them, but we felt that maybe what we'll do is put that into this mini pod on Wednesday along with the roast beef rugby boys. So it's, as I said, a kind of education, an edu-pod. So there was one thing that they mentioned that we were going to mention was something that a lot of listeners said about the women's fixtures. And there's a clash now, a big clash between. So for people with dual season tickets, it's a bit of a problem. And
there's not enough time, is there?
But we won't talk about that now. But it has been noted, and is
by the club,
and it's going to be. And then they talked a little bit more about it. So if you're interested to find out a bit more about the Bears Advisory Committee, look out for a midweek pod, and you'll hear the guys talk about it.
Just one other thing, and this is really important. it's a personal apology from a good friend of the pod, John Wood, to all the people that are travelling on the supporters coach and were 20 minutes delayed
waiting for
in travelling to Carmarthenshire. And John would like to say he was absolutely mortified that he was late, and actually he's usually very punctual.
He is.
And he's a brilliant lad, so he did want me to say.
He's like the naughty child who arrived late on the bus, did he?
So apologies for
and I
John.
bet did he have to walk all the way up the aisle because the only spare seat was right up.
Well, we had to sit where the headmaster sits next to the driver at the front, maybe.
And, well, fair play to John. He held his hands up and he stood up. But apparently he's not welcome back on the bus. But no, I'm joking. Right. Anyway, no, boys. It's been a good weekend. I feel quite tired now.
Yeah, me too.
You look very tired, Miles.
Thanks.
Lee, you look just like you always do, to be honest. So, everyone, have a good week. Look out for our midweek pod. Stay safe. And 1, 2, 3.
Up the Bears!